Tem 2 fundo.
O que tem aí? Eles estão perto!
É meu! Fui o primeiro a achar!
Ok, vamos sair daqui.
Pare de brigar por skins no jogo. Use um código para ganhar 3 caixas grátis e um bônus. Acesse a Hellcase.
Vitória von Bentsen, da Dust2 Brasil. Tô aqui com o Magisk, novo jogador da Astralis. So first, I would like to ask you, how's it feel, to be back to Astralis?
It's a good feeling. It's been a few years since I was here, so yeah, it's a nice feeling to have the jersey on again, and obviously to be there to help out the boys.
And the team you have now is very different from your old team. How has it been, training with them? You're gonna have your first game. How has this adaptation period been?
Obviously, we didn't have that much time, but I think it's I know the guys in the sense that I've met them a lot of times, and I think the we have pretty good we have the same humor, and we understand each other and stuff like that. So it's been very easy connecting together and finding the balance in the team. So yeah, I think it's for now it's just about getting as much experience as a team, and also making sure that we look a lot into the details to try and improve from game to game, because yeah, obviously we are lacking practice compared to other teams. So yeah, I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is the lack of practice. But I also believe that we have the people who can pull a strong team together for the rest of the season.
And I know it's still early on, but do you feel that, obviously, on last time you played for Astralis, you had unimaginable success. It's still early to ask this, but do you feel that maybe you can reach some of the same success with this new team?
I think it's still very early to say. I do believe we have the players to make some good results, and I also believe we have strong individual players. So, I mean, it's hard to say how good we can be. I think that's too early to say right now, but obviously we're going to be competing together for the rest of the season, and I think all of us is just focusing on trying to get the best out of the situation that is, and also grinding as much CS as we can as a team. But I definitely believe we can do good results, but obviously it comes from hard work and also getting on the same page very fast.
And tell us how this transfer happened. When you got the call, did you immediately say yes? Did you have to think about it? How was it?
No, but I see this as obviously it's a very good opportunity for me to stay sharp, but also make sure that I keep competing at the highest level as possible. And obviously it's very unfortunate with Stown and all these things, but for me it's obviously still a good opportunity to play out the season and find a try and get into the level that I know I can be at, and obviously just being at practice and being at the best tournaments is the best practice for me to also develop, but also get to see some new viewpoints from the other players and maybe also develop as a player. And so yeah, I think it's obviously. It was a perfect opportunity for me in the sense that I need to stay in shape, and I also want to improve as a player. And I think that's that can be healthy sometimes, to go into different environments where you have to develop on yourself and also make sure you push yourself into uncomfortable areas. And yeah, I think that's definitely why I wanted to do this. I think if I just wanted to be on vacation, then it would have been easier to have stayed in Falcons in that sense. But for me, it's important to stay sharp, but also show the people that I love CS.
And how are you feeling now for your first tournament?
Obviously, I would have loved to have a little bit more practice, but other than that, I think we have good chemistry in the team, and everyone is motivated in the sense that we want to, get the absolutely best out of this and make sure we play as good CS as we can, because we know we can play good CS. Obviously, we might not have the same amount of agreements like other teams, like every single detail is planned out and stuff like that, but at least we will have the communication in Danish, which also helps on the fly calls and making sure we have faster reactions and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited to get started. I think it's going to be fun. It's been a long time since I played at a LAN tournament, so for me it's just important that we have a smile on our face and we make sure we give our absolute best.
You mentioned now you're back in the Danish team and you're communicating in your mother tongue. You also played in a lot of international teams. What's the difference for you, communicating in English or communicating in your own language? Does it make a big difference? You said you can make faster decisions, but does it really impact your game?
I think everyone would prefer if they could speak their own language. But obviously, it's very difficult to find the correct players for the different teams with the correct roles and identities and stuff like that. So the difference is that obviously speaking your own language is faster. It creates faster reactions, also better understanding of what is exactly happening in the rounds. But I do believe that international is maybe a little bit, they have to adapt, but also pre-plan a lot of things. So they have a lot of pre-planned reactions because the communication can't be as good. So you kind of have to make sure you have a lot of plans for what is happening in different scenarios and stuff like that. I think that's definitely also where the difference is, because now we are speaking Danish and you can kind of talk your way out of it, but sometimes it's actually better to have pre-planned reactions so everyone knows exactly what is happening in the different scenarios and stuff like that. So I do believe that we could learn something from that. Also, even though we have the Danish communication, but I definitely think it's better to speak Danish, of course, because it's just easier.
And the last edition of this tournament, Astralis was second. How's the team feeling? Do you guys feel that this time you can win it with the new edition? Maybe you need some more time. What's the general feeling?
I think for us it's important that we give our absolutely best, and I also believe that we can go far if we click and we have the correct chemistry from the beginning. But I think it's also fair to say that this is a completely new team, and I wouldn't say that I'm expecting us not to make it to playoffs. I definitely believe we can make it to the playoffs, and if we manage to make it to the playoffs, I also believe anything can happen. Because playoffs is always a different game. It's always a different mindset. People get more nervous. People play worse. And I think that's where anything can happen. So for me, the first goal is just to get into the playoffs, and then we see what happens. But it is a new team, and I want to make sure that right now our focus is on learning how to play together. It is to understand how I want to play CS, but also how the other guys want to play CS. So it is a learning curve, and we need to respect that as well. And we need to also understand that results doesn't necessarily come overnight. It might take some time, but for me, I also believe it's important that we believe in ourselves, and I think the guys definitely also do that.
And Astralis, as an organization, they missed the last few majors, and you are a guy who knows a lot about majors. You guys now are in a good position in the VRS. Looks like you're gonna qualify. We can't say it yet because we still have some tournaments that are gonna happen. But how is the team feeling about this? Is there more pressure, to qualify for this one since you missed the last five?
I mean, for me, it's not any pressure because obviously we most of the times manage to qualify for the majors and stuff like that. So I don't really feel the pressure in that sense. I also think our statistics are very high of making it in that sense. So obviously it's maybe in the back of the head a little bit, but I don't think it's something that's putting more pressure on the games or anything like that. I think right now we are focusing on making sure that we improve as a team, and I also think that's the best way to see it, because right now we are in a this learning period of getting to know each other and how they play CS, but also how I like to play CS. And I think if we just focus on the process of getting better as a team, I also think that means we'll have the biggest chance of qualifying for the major. So I think it's about the mindset right now and just making sure we stay focused on the correct things. And I don't think we need to have pressure on ourselves for the major because, as I said, I think statistically it's very slim chance we don't make it. So yeah.
And I also wanted to ask you about, you leaving Falcons. Your exit was much like the others in the team, making space for what they call a superstar. When Nico joined and when Monesi joined was the same. Now you left to make space for Kyosuke. How did it feel for you? You were playing well, but, there's a new player coming in and you were the one that had to leave. How was this?
No, I mean, it's obviously always better to not be the one getting cut off in that sense. But I think Kusugi is obviously a talent, and I think there's no doubt about it. I don't really see it as him replacing me. I just more see it as they decided to keep Tessis over me in that sense, because it was either him or me. And for me, it's just more, I know myself, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I stand for. And I know I would have played those roles better than him, but that's the way I see it. They saw it differently, and I think that's fair enough. I mean, I don't really have any hard feelings against any one of them. I think they're good guys. I really like playing with them, and I think, it's a super strong team. So I think it's just, that's the way it is sometimes. They think something else is better. I have a different opinion, and, that's the way it is sometimes. I think there's no reason to think more about it in that sense. It's part of being a professional sometimes. Sometimes people, they they think something else is better, and that's the way it is. And I have been part of this for 10 years. I don't really hold any grudges in that sense. I just focus on myself, and obviously I also know I could have played better in terms of my individual level. So I like to see it in the way that I could have done a difference myself of protecting my spot even better in that sense. So yeah, I want to focus on myself and make sure I improve and become a better version of myself. And I think that's the most healthy way to see it. I have no grudges. I just want to focus on myself and make sure that I improve as a player.